guys, how's it going? Welcome back. Well, today I'm down in Cambridgeshire and I'm on my way to go and pick up a 1995 Mercedes-Benz SL320. I've always fancied one of these SLs and I got an email from a viewer last week offering me his. It's a black with a beige interior and it's done about 110,000 miles. So I thought I'd jump in the car with my brother and head down to Cambridgeshire. Just in case you're wondering what car I'm in a brand new Nissan Juke, which was loaned to me by the Nissan press office to see what I think. So there's a video coming very soon. It's not exactly the best day to go and look at an SL. It's just been raining non-stop. But I'm hoping it'll dry off so I can try the roof and all that sort of stuff. So I shall see when we get there. I'll give you a tour of the car. Right, well I've bought the SL320, so here it is. I thought I'd give you a quick tour. So it's a 1995 320. Now this is the straight six, not the V6. I thought it was the old, or the newer V6 engine, but it's the older straight six, which I don't think I've got any experience with, but I'm quite impressed so far. I'm back up north, by the way, back in Derbyshire, and the weather's lovely now. There are a few little things I need to do to it. I don't like the grille. Someone's put this facelift grille on it, which just looks wrong, so I'll get a age-appropriate grille. And I also think it should have amber lights, amber indicators, sorry, on the front corners. I think it should have those because it's got these amber indicators on the side and it just doesn't look right. So I think I'll replace those, replace the grille. It's got 4 matching Pirelli tyres. The wheels are in decent condition. There's a few little bits of scabbiness there, but they're not bad at all. The brake discs look okay as well. And the bodywork's not bad. I mean, it's had paint. I can see where it's had paint, but it's 28 years old. And for £3,500 that I paid for it, I'm really not that bothered. What I like most about this car is the fact it's just really usable. It isn't like my SL55 where I'm kind of worried to use it because it's too valuable and too nice. This is sort of a good, usable example. And it's got various bits of patina, I think they call it. Now, here, I guess where the hardtop, I've just dropped the hardtop off at work, where the hardtop sort of chafed on that over the years, it's kind of damaged the lacquer there. I'm guessing that's what's caused it. I don't know what else could have caused it. So I could get that painted, but you know, what's the point? And I've just driven it 4 hours and eventually the weather got better, but it didn't miss a beat. I guess it's a testament really to Mercedes build quality of this era. Everything, even down to the fuel filler cap. It's just really good quality. It's a very, very dark grey. It says black on the logbook, but doesn't look black to me. Looks like a sort of a charcoal colour, like an anthracite. But I really like it. I've just been pottering around in it now, just around these lovely hills on a day like today. And it isn't the quickest, doesn't handle the best, but it doesn't matter, does it? And everything, I mean, look at the thickness of the doors. Everything is really solid. Bit of a cliche, isn't it, to say, oh, it's built like a tank, but I think it actually is. Let me just move my bag, my trade plates. So it's got the original mats. The passenger seat isn't worn at all. The driver's seat's damaged a little bit. You can hear something a bit V8-ish. What's this? Oh, look at that. Monaro, I think. What else can I tell you? It doesn't have heated seats, but I mean, this is a 1995 car. Can you imagine driving this out of the showroom in 95 with its electrically adjustable headrests? I mean, even the quality of that there, everything is just overkill. Which I guess is why it's still running 28 years on. A little wind deflector there. No, I'm really over the moon with it. What I'm going to do next, I think, is run it over to SPR next week, get them to do an engine service on it, a gearbox service, and then tell me what's wrong with it. The air conditioning doesn't work. The seller told me about that. So I'll get that recharged or fixed. It could be a condenser, I'm not sure. And yeah, the boot's a good size for a car like this. I don't know whether they have gas struts. They're a little bit worn, so I might get those replaced. I think the key to this is to not spend a fortune on it. I want to get it running right. Well, it's running right already, but I want to maintain it well. But I don't want it to owe me that much that I've got to sell it because I'd like to just use it and enjoy it. What I would like to try and do is find a replacement steering wheel, because this one's a bit minging, especially around the top. So, and because it's one of those things that you obviously touch all the time, I'd like to find a replacement. I had a quick look on eBay and I couldn't find any of the same sort of era. So I'm not exactly sure what to do with that, but I'll keep my eye out. Eventually I'll find one, I'm sure. But yeah, even though it's got the tan interior, it's not too badly worn. The bolsters have taken a little bit of a beating over the years, but there's no rips. A little small rip there, but I can live with that. Yeah, it's a nice old thing, isn't it? Unfortunately, there's only one key with it as well, so I might try and get a spare cut. Be handy to have two keys, I think. I think though, with a good old clean and buff, that really does look the part. Can't wait to get the original grille on it. As always, before I agreed to buy the car, I checked it out using Car Vertical, which is really easy to use. All you do is go to carvertical.com, type in the vehicle reg, which is Mike 226 Charlie Echo Yankee. Check vehicle. Now, it's really important that you do one of these checks before you hand over any money when you buy a used car. You just don't know what history it's got lurking. This will tell us whether it's ever been stolen, written off, had a mileage rollback, or has outstanding finance on it. With a car like this, although it isn't the most valuable thing in the world, just wanted to make sure I hadn't bought one that had been in a bump. This checks millions of cars across dozens of countries' databases. And with a car of this age, it could have well been exported, imported again, spent some of its time in Portugal or Spain. That's often the case with cars like this. I know when I lived in Spain, my neighbour had an R-Reg SL320 with about 18,000 miles on the clock that they bought new, and then when they moved to Spain, they brought it with them and then registered it on Spanish plates. That's probably why I'm interested in the R129 SL anyway. It's a proper 90s car. The R129 ran from 1989 until 2001 when it was replaced with my era of SL55. So it's actually an 80s technology, this really. It's kind of weird because it feels like an old car inside, and yet it still feels surprisingly modern. I know that sentence made no sense at all, but I remember my neighbour in Spain when he brought his over and I was making a fuss of it. He was telling me all about it, and I think he said something like, it's got 18 motors on it, this car, 18 electric motors. Which I suppose is nothing for a modern car, but for a car of this vintage, it is. And like that, the report is ready. So, there was an issue with the mileage. At some point on one of the MOTs about 5 years ago, I'm guessing somebody entered the mileage in incorrectly. I'll show you that. But it's never been stolen, never been involved in any accidents, and there's no outstanding finance. So we're all clear there. So it was first registered in the UK in May 1995. I was 5 years old then. That means this car is now 28 years old. It had a licence change. So one of its plates was Shaw. Mr. Shaw owned the car. Then at some point in 03 it changed to C10XVV. But it's passed every year without anything really horrendous going wrong. That's just brakes and CV boots, not the end of the world. There was something here about rust at some point, but I guess that's been done. Where is it? It's like body corrosion. So the last MOT was done in August last year, and it passed with no advisory items, which for a 27-year-old car is quite impressive, I thought. Let's see if it provides any information here then. So the mileage, the last MOT was 107, it's currently done 109, and it's only done about 2,000 miles a year. The issue here was, I'm guessing this is an input error, because it's fairly steady every single year, a couple of thousand miles a year. Then at that point it had done 99,000 miles, then all of a sudden the next year it had done 119, then back down to 103, which I don't really buy. I suspect the MOT tester was reading the wrong figure, or entered in the wrong figure, I'm not sure. So I'm guessing that was probably 102 or something at that point. Who knows? It's annoying really because it spoils the history on an otherwise pretty good car. It tells us when it was previously for sale as well. So it was for sale in September 21 at 7,995. It's an SL320 1995 petrol automatic. And the road tax is 295 a year. Ah, look at that. It's got the photographs of when it was previously advertised. And it still shows that wrong grille on it. That was back in 21. That's obviously a dealer. That's interesting, isn't it? So I've got the hard top, which is a bit of a result. I didn't know it was coming with the hard top, but that's now at work. And the sellers told me that the clear plastic window in the soft top, he's had replaced because it had cracked. So that's an expense I don't have to do. Yeah, very good. And it was sold with that private plate on. What was the mileage then? The mileage then was 105. It only had one key back then as well. But yeah, it's got cruise control and stuff. It does feel like a modern car. By the way, if you want to do one of those checks for yourself, then make sure you use the promo code HIGHPEAK because you'll save yourself 10%. I'll leave the link below in the video description. Right, should we take this for a spin? Right then, let's fire this old girl up. I can't tell you how impressed I am with this. I mean, it kind of makes sense. The previous owner was using it as his daily runaround, so I was a little bit apprehensive about jumping in a 28-year-old car and then driving it all the way from Cambridgeshire back up to Derbyshire. But I needn't have worried. It's just really effortless. When it's cold, the gearbox takes a couple of seconds longer than I'd like to change gear, but it's an old car, what do you expect? I just love this era of cars. I've said this before, but 90s to early 2000s, that's my era. I'm a 90s kid, so I've grown up watching films, mainly American films and TV shows, where the stars would drive around in cars like this. I just love all that nostalgia. Probably why I'm obsessed with P38s and E38s too. Yeah, she sounds pretty good. The brakes are good. I mean, you can't really hustle this around. But on a day like today, you just can't beat it. I'm just pootling around at 28 miles an hour, enjoying myself. So next week I'll get the engine and gearbox serviced. I'll try and find a grille and a steering wheel and a few other bits and pieces. And oh, I need to sort the air conditioning out. That doesn't work, so I'm thinking I might take this down to Spain for the summer. I'm not sure yet. I'll see what they find on its inspection. If I get the air conditioning sorted, then why not? Have a nice leisurely stroll down to the Costa del Sol. What do you think of then, guys? Let me know in the comments below. Have I made a mistake buying an old 129, or am I onto something? I genuinely think it's classy. I think I've bought a piece of history. And at $3.5 grand, I can't go wrong. I've been looking at these on Auto Trader and eBay for ages, and then I've been looking at them and looking at them. The ones I've been looking at have been 10 grand, 12 grand, 15 grand for a nice one. I've been thinking I can't really justify having 15 grand in something that I might rarely use. But at 3.5, couldn't say no. Well, I think that's about it then. Thank you once again for watching. If by some stroke of luck in your shed is a pristine steering wheel and grille for an R129, then email me, matt@highpeakautos.com. So yeah, cheers guys. Thank you once again for watching. I'll see you next time.